Hey everybody, welcome to Versus, the all Alan edition. I'm going to battle myself. I don't know why my background there isn't on, but hey, welcome to Versus. I'm Alan Ning, editor-in-chief of Film Threat. We're just going to do a lazy stream here on a Labor Day. Thank you for joining. We'll talk a little bit about me. I'll answer a bunch of your questions. Done a little bit of my history of I talk a lot about my grandfather's restaurant. We're gonna get into details today. Also, and we're gonna do a movie theater pizza review. We'll talk about the pizzas that are sold at movie theaters here in LA. And then also, I should point out, we started on time. Just saying. So let's get it started. All right, folks, it's just me. No Chris today. It's an Alan takeover, and I've got Atomic Glory in the background. So let's go to some of your comments here real quick. MM has become a new member. Well, you know what we like to say to new members. As Lord Thought says, likes, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on X and Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com. All right. Let's see who else is out there. Bill S. Preston Esquire. All new, all different Alan. I didn't shave. I did everything else but shave. From Patrick Lemire. Alan. Oh, I should have played the video. Oh, well. Chris Gore. I don't know who that is. All Alan stream. Chris is relaxing. I think he's back from Atlanta, or he's flying back now. And then B-Man Alan for the win. Hey, again, thank you for everyone who's joining us today. Let's just relax and have some fun. Bill S. Preston Esquire again says, I appreciate the Chinese man working the white people to take a day of rest. Yeah, that's what our people don't stop working. Let's just say that. If we stopped working, you wouldn't have railroads and all your clothes would stink. And from Graph Web, hey, for fuck's sake, we're still early in the stream, so I'm not sorry yet. Hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Yes, Graph Web, and you're going to enjoy this because today we're going to go on to Disney Plus, and we're going to play some scenes here in the background. So, let's see. And then, let's see. Lori says you have some video glens made for you. Oh, okay, let's do this. Let's see what videos we have here. Here we go. Home Alone 2. Hey, thanks, Glenn. Let's see. I think there's another one here. Sorry, I'm doing everything right now. Let's fucking go. I feel like we're gonna get struck for that one. Here we go.
Who are your people?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo.
Yes, we're doing it solo. Hey, hey, throw your chats out there. I'll answer as many as I can. I think here we go. And a super chat from DarkSith87 for 69.69. Thank you so much for that. Let's kick this stream off. Let's fucking go. All right. So let's I don't think I've ever really talked about how I got here to this point with everything, but let's just say I've been doing Film Threat since 2017. So I think I'm on my 7th year. And before that, just been reviewing films on my own personal blog. And when it comes to films and movies and why I like them so much, it all started back in the 70s. First film I ever saw, my favorite film, Disney film, at least to this date, was Mary Poppins. And from there, life just started rolling. I saw Mary Poppins at one of the Disney re-releases. And I'll say my taste in movies is very different from Chris, as you know. He's very much into the sci-fi and the horror. My taste in films come from comedy, and I have to thank the most unfunniest person I know for that, which is my older brother. My older brother he introduced me to the most of the comedies that I know today. He's the one who got me to watch the Marx Brothers, Three Stooges. Channel 5 KTLA here in LA got me into the Little Rascals, Popeye, and I just started going into comedies. And I'll say this: the big one was the Muppets. I watched Sesame Street a lot. I love the Muppets. And when when my brother told me the Muppets were on Saturday Night Live that first season, I was very young at this age, and I would stay up late on a Saturday night just to catch the Muppets. And the problem was that at the end of the Muppets didn't appear until the end of the show. So by the time midnight rolled around, I was usually asleep. But that's what got me into Saturday Night Live. Followed the original cast. I came on first season. And just followed the main cast. And then my brother started getting me into Dr. Demento, KMET here in LA. Dr. Demento was every Sunday night. He was playing Stan Freberg, Weird Al, and that just started to build my love for comedy. And then he introduced me to Monty Python. And then the last thing he introduced me to was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the radio show. And it was from there that I think my wanting to do comedy, wanting to be associated with comedy, kind of took root there. And that's kind of where I come from. The sad thing is, especially now, is comedies are not what they used to be. I think what I liked most about comedies was the irreverence. The Young Frankenstein, the producers, Blazing Saddles, Monty Python was irreverent. Even Life of Brian. I was a Christian at the time Life of Brian came out. And I remember having battles with my friends at church over whether you should see that movie or not. So that's, this is where my love for movies came from. And so I started to lean more toward comedies, more toward action. And stayed away from horror as much as I could. And now I'm stuck with horror. Saw Afraid last night, which we'll review on Friday. So that's kind of my beginnings here. In terms of doing movie criticism, it started at a young age. I was just loving film so much. Got, PBS was showing Siskel and Ebert at the movies. Was it that one? Or... I know there was they had the PBS version, and then when they went to syndication, they had to change the name. But from the very beginning, I was watching Siskel and Ebert, and that's kind of where my love of film criticism came in. And just really understanding what I liked about movies and taking that philosophy of watching a movie, deciding whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, or if you did like it, trying to figure out, well, what was it about that film that made you feel good about it or bad about it? What could have been improved? And that's kind of the approach I take to film criticism today. This is all, Chris Gore says, this is all BS. Thanks, Chris. Alan's true story is that he was bitten by a radioactive Roger Ebert. That's true. That's true. Got to meet him. Let's see. MK Solid. Alan, what is your favorite Chinese dish? I will tell you, it is, we usually get this only at banquets, but it's Peking duck. And what they do is they'll slice the duck into thin slices with the skin on it, and then they'll bring out these white baos, these white buns. And it's not the typical bun that's kind of this size, but it's flatter and it opens up like a clamshell. And you put oyster sauce in it. Then you put the duck, especially with the skin, and then maybe a scallion here or there. And it is the best thing. The greasiness of the duck on top of that bun, plus the leanness of the duck and the oyster sauce, a winning combination. If they made it more, I would order it more. I feel like I'm Kamala Harris right now, and we used to wash it in the bathtub. Jimmy Francis, Alan, which films have been most influential for you? I will say that it's Mel Brooks, a lot of Mel Brooks stuff. Producers, that's the big one. To me, that was my first comedy that I fell in love with, because it was not jokey jokes. It was comedy for the sake of comedy based on the situation. You have these two disparate characters, Max Bialystock and Leo Bloom, and they're so different in the way they interact with one another. And then to pull off this scam, which I think happens today. I think Disney's involved in the scam, in fact, right now. To me, it was just my first real perfect comedy. And then you add Blazing Saddles on top of that. You add Young Frankenstein. Go down the line, High Anxiety. I'm trying to think of a comedy that really influenced me that wasn't Mel Brooks at the time. I'm sure there was. Oh, yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That one was when we got Showtime back in the late 70s. They would play Attack of the Killer Tomatoes over and over and over again. And on top of that, they would play Bad News Bears over and over again, and Smokey and the Bandit over and over again. And those three movies have kind of, that's been the foundation of my childhood when it comes to comedies. All right. Darth Yeager, the unfunniest person Alan knows could be Awkwafina. Could be. It's weird, but I would say Awkwafina is best when she is not doing comedy and playing a comedic role, a role that requires comedy. A role that requires her to be dramatic, but then comedy kind of surrounds it. Her latest, Quiz Ladies is weirdly a good comedy. The last one, the Jackpot, no, she does the Awkwafina thing, and on top of that, she does it with John Cena. All right, just bad. By the way, I saw the comments about me saying all the time, and so I am mentally trying not to do it, but it's going to happen. Spidey Sensei 2, where can we see Alan's stand-up online? Let's see. Actually, there's been a new rule at our theater that when you go, you can actually film what we do and post it on the internet, and I haven't seen it yet. I do have a old YouTube channel where there's some of my comedy on it, and I will tell you that is from 20 years ago. But the show hasn't changed that much, so I think it's still good stuff. So you might want to check that out. Aliens win, Alan. Yeah, Aliens, I am doing this. We'll do a member stream. I'll play Aliens on the screen here, and then we'll do a live reaction where I'll see it for the first time. Right now, I think I mentioned on the Friday show that my wife is having major surgery on Wednesday. And so your thoughts and prayers are coveted at this point. Depending on the aftermath of that, once we kind of go through the surgery and get over the hurdle, then I can kind of plan when I can do that live stream. So it will happen hopefully at the end of the month or early October at some point. All right. Razorburn, Alan, missed you at Dragon Con. Loved hanging out with Chris. Well, that makes one of us. No, I love hanging out with Chris. I will go to Dragon Con someday. I don't know when, I don't know how, but from what I've seen, Chris talk about it, from your comments about it, I do want to go to Dragon Con. Weirdly enough, my wife really wants to go to Dragon Con too. Right, so let's do this. We're going to switch gears, and I know you guys are going to enjoy this. Let's talk about movie theater pizza. Yeah, so here in Southern California, especially near where I am, I guess movie theaters are needing to broaden their menus, and they're not only adding pizza. Not only have they added pizza, but now they're adding hamburgers, fries. The Regal down the street from my house is serving fries. I think poppers, churros. The AMCs, I live near the Fullerton AMC, the dine-in. And before the pandemic, the food was really good. It was sushi. They had a good Caesar salad. They had burgers, of course. And now post-COVID, the menu selections are not that great. They're limited, not as much of a variety. I would say the same thing about Alamo Drafthouse. Alamo Drafthouse used to have the really good food, and then post-pandemic, it just is changed. You don't get hot tea anymore. I remember, what was it? I do remember buying sushi at the Alamo Drafthouse. But let's do this. Let's take a look. Let's see the state of pizza. Let me start by saying I have pictures and video, but I couldn't get it for Cinemark, and I'll tell you why. A, I didn't have time to get to Cinemark this weekend, and B, Cinemark pretty much serves Pizza Hut pizza. And when I went to see, what was that? Oh, I saw Alien Romulus there. I got the Pizza Hut pizza. The pizza, if you like Pizza Hut, it's good. But the problem I had was the Pizza Hut pizza was under the heat lamp for a very long time. And so when I got it back to my seat, it was dry as hell and tasted bad. And so your luck with Cinemark is hit or miss, depending on how fresh that pizza is. But let's get to what I did yesterday. Here we go. I gotta pull this one up. Okay, I've got a video here. Okay, let me mute it. Whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna mute it because the movie started when I got my pizza. I saw Afraid yesterday. Let's look at it here. Okay, and we'll kind of go through it. This is AMC Pizza. And I will tell you this. AMC Pizza used to be my favorite pizza. I would order it all the time. It was one of these artisan flatbread pizzas. And it just pepperoni. That's my pizza. Pizza of choice, just a pepperoni pizza. Recently, in the last 6 months, AMC has changed their pizza. And let's unveil it now. There you go. That's an AMC pizza. Now you look at it and you kind of think, you may think to yourself, oh, this doesn't look too bad. Here, let me grab one of the slices. All right. You know, it's very thick. And there you go. Pepperoni pizza, folks. That's what an AMC pizza looks like. And let me tell you about this AMC pizza. I hate this pizza. I hate this pizza with a passion. And you're looking at it now, and you're probably thinking it's mediocre. But here's the problem with the AMC pizza. What you don't see is it's the bread, it's the crust. This pizza is more dough than pizza. If I were to pull the pepperoni and the cheese off, you'd have this fairly thick piece of dough, and it's not balanced in any way. When for me, and again, preference and style preference, you know, we all have different preferences, but I like a good balance between crust, cheese, and then whatever topping I have. Here, this is predominantly, I'd say 80% crust. 80% dough. It's very fluffy, so it feels like you're eating dough constantly. And the toppings here don't lay well on it, and so it's going to fall off. They do put a lot of tomato sauce on it, and I do find myself mopping up tomato sauce off my shirt. I do not like this pizza. In fact, the last 2 times I've ordered this pizza, I couldn't finish it. It's a 10-inch pizza. Usually I can get through the whole thing by the movie's end. The last 2 times, first 2 times ago, it was half the pizza I could eat. This one, I couldn't get to the last slice. It's just not my favorite. And then as time goes on, as the pizza gets colder, it doesn't get any better at all. All right, let's see what you have to say about AMC Pizza. We'll get to Regal Pizza because I'll have an interesting take on that one. But Bad Manual says nothing like a hot dog that's been on rollers all day. Some don't even do that. I don't think Regal even does hot dogs on a roller. I think they microwave the whole thing. A Red French Moon, but it's pizza worth watching. We don't do that in France, just popcorn. Yeah. I mean, food, getting something other than popcorn for me is very different, especially since AMC went dine-in. All right. Zachary Bloom, I live in New York. This pizza is blasphemous. I've yet to have a real New York pizza. I have had New York-like pizzas, Sbarro's, but there you go. And then ADL is Alan Portnoy Ing. That's right. Yeah, the movie had started. I would have done a whole video, but there were actually people in my theater watching Afraid. All right, let's go to the Regal Pizza. All right, I think... Do I have a video of it? I think this is a video. Sorry, let me... Oh, okay, here's the video. Let me just check. Okay, here we go. So this is interesting. I didn't realize it until now. But, okay, I'm going to show you the Regal Pizza. Guess what? Regal and AMC, they use the same popcorn box. The same pizza box. So let's check this video out. This is the Regal Pizza. And I will say that this is my favorite pizza of the three chains of Cinemark, AMC, and Regal. And that's not saying much. I will say that the Regal one is the least worse pizza. So let's take a look. Oh, sorry, I'm doing it there. Here we go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. So here's the thing about the Regal Pizza. The Regal Pizza, 10-inch pizza, it's flat. It's a thin crust pizza, and it's very thin. And the best thing about this pizza is the crust. Look how burnt that crust is. Look, if your crust is burnt and it's thin like this, I am so for it. And I'm not talking dry. I'm not talking hard pizza or a hard crust. I'm talking a nice, crispy, burnt crust, one that you could just bite into and eat. Look at that. Yes, this is literally wafer thin. I think I'm grabbing a piece of it. Here you go. Look at that. Look how thin that pizza is. That's got to be at least 2 centimeters. Maybe 1.5 centimeters of pizza there. And I will say this. You need to eat this pizza in 15 minutes. Because when it gets cold, it is bad pizza. I hate... Yeah, let's see. Do I have more of this? I think I actually have myself eating it. Let me see if I can get to it. Okay, here we go. Let me... Okay, do you want to see me eat? Let's do this. All right. This is kind of disgusting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, least worse. Let's go with that. All right. But look, the only thing good about that pizza is the crust. The crust is nice and crispy on the edge, and it's very soggy in the middle. I believe this is what they refer to as cardboard pizza. It's very cardboard pizza. And yeah, eat, Alan. And like I said, look, if AMC didn't change their flatbread pizza, it would be hands down the best pizza. And I'm sorry, it goes to Regal at this moment. All right, let's see what y'all have to say about it. From Jean-Hu, Sbarro's is like New York pizza the way Taco Bell is like Mexican food. Yeah, absolutely. It's I always talk it the Panda Express. Panda Express, I'll say, is closer to Chinese food than P.F. Chang's. P.F. Chang's is to Chinese food as Sbarro's is to New York pizza. Brock Samsonite, the Regal by my house has terrible pizza. The AMC by me has better pizza, but it's exactly the opposite for me. I don't know, is your Regal pizza like mine? Brock, let me know. From Johnny, I'm from Naples, Italy. Pizza in Rome is known to be crispy. I love crispy crust. Like if Naples, if pizza in Rome is crispy, I'm all for it. I'm gonna go to Italy and try the pizza. Let's see. Nick XH, stop showing pizza, Alan. You're making me hungry now. That makes you hungry? Here, let me get the photo here. Is that the photo? Yeah. Here you go. That makes you hungry? I mean, I guess look, I'll say this. All this pizza looks great when you open the box. Then you actually have to eat it. Brock Samsung, no, my Regal pizza is just like your AMC pizza. Okay. Oh, interesting. And you didn't like the AMC pizza. Yeah, the other thing about the AMC, this is what I've noticed some pizza places do, but they throw, is it like cornmeal onto the they throw cornmeal out and then they put the dough on top of the cornmeal. That's what the AMC does. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'll say it's less greasier than the Regal pizza here, and it's definitely less greasier than the Pizza Hut pizza. There you go. But this reminds me of Fedco pizza. For those of you who know, we used to go to Fedco. I used to live near a Fedco, and we were eating Fedco pizza on Sunday night or Sunday afternoons for lunch. All right, let's transition here. Yeah, keep throwing your comments out there. Let's see. MK Solid, Rings of Ing. Let's see. IDGAF about. Oh, I don't give a fuck about Rings of Power. If folks like it, great. I'm happy for you, and let it sink quietly. Exactly. I think we showed on Friday from That Park Places that there's not a lot of interest when it comes to watching Rings of Power. In fact, it appears the viewership is dropping with every episode, much like The Acolyte. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, see, Razor Burn. Looks like the pizza sold at Dragon Con. I would imagine it's better. I mean, honestly, if it's a little bit thicker, I would think it would be better. Laura Buckles, ordering a Domino's New York style 3-topping pizza in 3, 2, 1. I will say this, of the chain pizzas that we have out here, Domino's is the one I go to, and it's the thin crust pizza. I love the Domino's thin crust pizza. That's pretty much it for the chain. I will tolerate Little Caesars for the price. Papa John's, absolutely despise Papa John's. And it's for the crust. I hate the Papa John's crust. And Pizza Hut, if I need a dose of grease, I'll go to Pizza Hut. ADLS24. I could see Alan going to AMC to order old pizza, even if he was going to see a flick. I'll say this. I've been buying food at movies a lot lately. The Regal, I'll do the pizza at the Regal. I haven't tried their hamburger yet because I think they nuke everything at the Regal, and I'm not sure I want a nuked hamburger. I'll try it once just to, maybe we'll do a hamburger stream because AMC hamburger, very good. I am a big fan of the AMC hamburger. Soundwave podcast. I'm hungry, Alan, and it's your fault. Yeah, sorry. I would blame Atomic Lori because when I said maybe I'll do a pizza review, and she's just like, yes, do it. Aaron Howell, the ambient humidity of a region can really mess with the pizza making quality. In the South, with high humidity regions I'm used to, good pizza is doable, but great pizza is hard to do. Yeah, then I'd be curious what you think of LA pizza. We have no humidity. And then I'll say this about LA, you can get any kind of pizza here. There's someone selling every style of pizza somewhere. You just have to go and look for it. Oilers Workshop 499. This reminds me of Everybody Loves Raymond when his wife decided to try to become a graphic designer and invents the pizza mascot Pete-za. Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, by the way, Everybody Loves Raymond, one of my favorite TV shows. I've mentioned this before, but Everybody Loves Raymond has to be the most Asian television show ever made. Because that family, it could be any Asian family. All right, we're going to move on to bigger and better things. After these quick ones, Ryan Landis, what about nachos? Nachos at movie theaters. It is bagged... Tostitos. No, the Doritos. What do they call it? Am I saying it right? Is it Doritos. Is that right? It's just packaged chips that I could buy at the supermarket, and then they put the cheese sauce, your typical nacho cheese sauce on top of it. So no, we're not going to do nacho reviews because I could make it at home. It's all the same. AMC, Cinemark, Regal, they do it all the same. Kiter Jesse, excellent food review. Alan needs a food threat channel. There you go. Yes, food threat from Mark Clement. All right. Yeah. Okay, so I talk a lot about my we're going to transition. Let's move to let me see. Get rid of that comment. We'll move to history of Hong Kong Cafe. Hong Kong Cafe is my grandfather's restaurant. I have this weird association with Hollywood, and it happens in various areas of my life, and I'm going to just give you one of them. And it's my grandfather. My grandfather, immigrant from China. He came to America when he was, I believe he was 8 years old. Weirdly enough, he's a U.S. citizen at the time. But when he immigrated to the United States, he was holed up in Angel Island up in the Bay Area, lived in a prison cell for 9 months or 6 months as they were processing his paperwork. So that was his first 6 months here in the United States. And then he just kind of traveled up and down California, meeting up with dad or my great grandfather. But he was pretty much on his own. And as the Chinese do, they're very resourceful. As he got older, he got into the Chinese food game. And his first restaurant was in Beverly Hills, believe it or not. And when they were filming, okay, I grew up about 5 miles from the Sony studios in Culver City. And at that time, the Sony studios was actually the old MGM studios. And they were filming Gone with the Wind there long before I was born. But they filmed Gone with the Wind there. When the shooting wrapped late at night, my grandfather's restaurant in Beverly Hills was the only one open. And so the crew went from MGM Studios to Beverly Hills to eat my grandfather's restaurant. So he got the bug for Chinese food. And so the owners of the restaurant, they closed it down, turned it into a furniture restaurant, which is still there today. And my grandfather then moved to LA Chinatown and opened Hong Kong Cafe with my great uncle. So my grandfather and his brother, they opened it together. My grandfather was more or less operations, and my great uncle was more or less the head of state, the figurehead for the restaurant. And so if you ever see interviews about my restaurant or talk to people or hear interviews from the owners, it's usually my great uncle who was in front of the camera. He had a very television friendly look versus my grandfather who didn't. And so I'll bring this up. Okay. So I'll show you what the restaurant looks like. If I had thought about it earlier, I would have gotten actual pictures. This is from Wikipedia, but this is the restaurant, Hong Kong Cafe. Pretty much how the restaurant looked throughout its life, except this is a horrible photo. The walls are pink. They're not white like this. And in the 70s, if you're familiar with punk music, especially LA punk music, Hong Kong Cafe was a part of the LA punk music scene. In Chinatown, there was a restaurant called Madame Wong's. And every night at Madame Wong's in the late 70s, the restaurant would have punk bands come in and perform. The thing was Madame Wong was the only restaurant there that was doing this. And so they were taking a large chunk of the gate and the bands. And then Madame Wong was a gatekeeper in the worst way. You had to be on her good side if you wanted to perform there. If you weren't on her good side, you couldn't perform there. And so what good Chinese people do is when an opportunity arises, you take that opportunity. And so my grandfather started, basically these bookers approached my grandfather about doing punk music at the restaurant because upstairs on the second floor of the restaurant is the banquet hall, and there's a stage there. And so they would use that stage, and all these punk bands would come in and perform. And I think A, they like the promoters, and B, they like to stick it to Madame Wong's. And so that's kind of how things started. And so if you look at the Wikipedia page here, yeah, here we go. Esther Wong, Madame Wong. So here are the bands who performed at the restaurant. Starting in 1979, Daily Planet, Elton Duck, Uncle, The Plugs, The Alley Cats, The Bags, The Controllers, The Plugs, Black Flag performed at our restaurant. There you go, Black Flag. The Tremors, Fingers, Satin Tones, say The Weasels. Let's see, Pink Section, The Plugs, The Alley Cats, X, The Real Kids. Oh, here we go. July 20th, 1979, The Go-Go's performed at our restaurant. Let's see, Elton Duck. So there's a lot of Bates Motel, Bags, Agent Orange, Middle Class, DOA was there. Let's see, Nervous Gender, The Plugs, August, yeah, and then Germs. It continued on into the 80s, but this is the yeah. So yeah, it was from 79 to 81, and supposedly there's a resurgence. Yeah, I don't remember the resurgent in 1972. And I'll say that the restaurant closed. Oh, I want to say in the mid 90s, just because of the economy. Chinatown right now, there's maybe a couple restaurants open in Chinatown, like 3. There's some gift shops, and then every summer the Historical Society will do food trucks. That's kind of the state of LA Chinatown, just like all the other Chinatowns, with the exception of San Francisco. Chinatowns are pretty much dead. And there you go, Esther Wong. Do they even have? Yeah, they don't even have pictures of my grandparents here. Do they? Nope. Okay. So the reason I bring this up is because I'm going to show you on the big screen some scenes where my grandfather's restaurant appears, some movies. And so we'll start with Disney Plus. There you go. I'm going to mute this so we don't get copyright struck. But here we go. Whoops. Sorry. You're about to see what my daughter watches on. This is what my daughter watches on Disney Plus. I need to switch over to me. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you Ant-Man and how the restaurant appears in Ant-Man. Here we go. Continue. There we go. So the restaurant appears at the end of the movie when Scott and Luis meet up. There it is. Okay, so there you go. Here's the scene. There's our friends. There's let me see if I can point. Davis Dastmalchian. There's Paul Rudd, and then here's the restaurant there in the background. All right. So a lot of times when they still shoot movies in LA Chinatown, and this is how they dress it up. Ant-Man came out maybe 6 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago. These the lights not there. It looks clean. It doesn't look clean, but they clean up real nice. They turn everything on. This store and this store is closed. That one is a gift shop, and so that's how things look. I think let's see if they go further into it. But let's see if you can see it in the background. By the way, if Disney is asking, I'm repurposing this for family history. All right. So that was Ant-Man. Now let's go to the next movie. Oops, here we go. All right, backing up. Here we go. Okay, Freaky Friday, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. If you're familiar with the story of Freaky Friday, it's one of those body switch stories. Mother and daughter, they are at each other's throats, and they go to a Chinese restaurant where, for some reason, ancient Chinese magic. They get their bodies switched. Let's do this. All right. So there you go. She runs off in a huff. They go to the Chinese restaurant. There's Mark Harmon with Jamie Lee Curtis. And they're going into Chinatown. This is the Chinatown Plaza. And you can see in the background there's the restaurant right there. And that's not the restaurant. That's a movie set. So there you go. All right. So you saw it. It's just the restaurant is perfect for exteriors. And there you go. This is the exterior. Goes to the front of the restaurant, that cuts to a set. All right, I'm gonna go to one more movie where it appears. But before I do that, let's get your comments here. Tina Guzman, this is an awesome story, Alan. Here, I'll even up it one. When my grandfather's restaurant was in Beverly Hills, this was in the 30s and 40s. It was the Chinese restaurants were the highlight at this time, and they had a guest book. On that guest book, on a single page, was Elizabeth Taylor's signature, and 3 down was Albert Einstein's signature. And where's that autograph? Where's that guest sign-in book today? Who knows? I think one of the aunties stole it. Not one of my aunties, but one of the aunties stole it. All right, Darth Yeager, a place that sells furniture for restaurants. No, it's home furniture, but there you go. Nong Mar, nice. We need more movies about the Ming Dynasty. My cousin's working on a documentary right now about the whole punk thing. And then I'll show you the best representation of the restaurant in a movie once we go through this. Darth Yeager, Punk Walk. That's right. Hustle. Johnny Allen is one of my favorite YouTubers, so chill and authentic. Well, I try to be. Zachary Bloom, Opium Den in the back. Yeah, well, I'll say downstairs in the restaurant was the deli. If you've ever done dim sum, everything you can buy at dim sum, you could buy the deli downstairs. When they closed the restaurant, they kept the deli open for as long as they could, for about a year, and then they had to close the deli because of the economy. And thank you to people in charge. Okay, Texas Outlaw, Michael Senez. Stick it to Madam Wong, eh? She didn't become a madam for nothing. Willie the Monkey King for $4.99. Thank you so much. What's up, Alan? Hey, Willie. So this explains why your grandpa has big D energy. How come you have big D energy? I don't know. We're Asian for one thing, so it's something you have to earn. I'll say this about my grandfather, though. I was always at his house on Sundays, Sunday afternoon to night. It was family gathering thing. Sunday was kind of my grandfather's day off. And every Sunday I would go to his house, and what was he doing? He was in the dining room, had a transistor radio and an earpiece, and he was listening to Dodger games all the time. He was a diehard Dodger fan from the moment they moved to LA to the day he passed. He was watching the Dodgers, and we got to celebrate a World Series in 1988 together, which was fun. Okay. Chelsea M. Hey, this story should be made into an indie movie. Maybe. I mean, it's pretty much immigrant comes to California and starts a business, and the craziness. AD Ellis, Chinatown in Toronto is still thriving. Hey, that's great. Okay, there's 2 because I know the one in Vancouver is dead. Spidey Sensei 2. Was that the restaurant in Fast and the Furious where Johnny Tran blew up Dom and Brian's car? Is that the first one? I've not seen the first Fast and Furious, so I'll have to look that one up. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but that would be cool. There have been movies and TV shows that it's in the background, and I don't bring out. The A-Team was one of them. Also, if you watch the first season of Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, watch the first season of that show. The opening credits, the restaurant appears in the opening credits. They do kind of pans of LA landmarks, And one of those LA landmarks is my grandparents. Let's see. Tostitos is right. Lori tells me, and Lori loves Papa John's. I don't know how you can love Papa John's. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So I want to show you. Want to show you the last one. So the best appearance of my grandfather's restaurant is Darkman. In fact, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll pull it up on here. I just won't play the sound, and I'll kind of just run through it. Let me grab it for a second. If I knew where my playlist was, here we go. Watch later. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I'll mute it, and I will share it. And yes, I am commenting on everything I'm doing here. All right. So if you're familiar with Sam Raimi's Darkman, starring Liam Neeson, this scene will be very familiar to you. Let's see. Here we go. There's Larry Drake. For life of me, I can't remember the character's name, but here we go. Let's play this. They're in Chinatown. They're walking along. He's looking. Oh yeah, Liam Neeson is Larry Drake. There's the restaurant right there. There's a revolving door, which is not in the restaurant. Now they're going upstairs to where the punk music was played. This is the upstairs of it. You can see the ornate Chinese decorations in the back. There's the stage where the punk was. And then here we go. There's the table. There's a window looking out. And there's the Chinese mafia member. There you go. But this is the upstairs. Yeah, and then now he leaves, and the two Larry Drake characters meet up with one another, and they're stuck in that revolver, which does not exist, never existed, and they're caught in this kind of whirlwind thing here. And there it is. That's the front of the restaurant. And there you go. I don't know what that is. The final. Okay, that's a movie I was reviewing right there. Okay. So that's there you go. I'll get that. Okay. So you got So that's what Sam Raimi and I have in common. That moment in Darkman. All right. I'm pretty proud of it. I thought it was pretty cool just to have a day where, I mean, they literally shut down the restaurant for the day, and there it is. Bruce Leroy Jenkins, Alan, can you or cannot speak Chinese? I cannot speak Chinese. It's very interesting. I'll tell the story on that. So my mom was born in China. My dad was born in America, and both of them have perfect English. My mom came here not knowing a word of English at 10 years old, and somehow, as long as I've known her, has had a perfect English accent. But they both can speak Cantonese. Professor Fear, is that guy your grandfather? No. My grandfather is not exactly if let's put it this way. If you got my grandfather before he was 40, very handsome man. After 40, I would say he's more like the best way to describe him would be the Emperor in Mulan, the cartoon version. That's kind of how he looks. How he looked at the end. All right, English Batchers. Wow, man, I love Darkman. I never knew this. Yep, that was the restaurant. That was theirs. Preston S. Esquire. Wow, that dude's outfit is pure 80s. Yep. Yeah, the rolled up sleeves. Remember that? Toxic Waltz at 8. Love Darkman. Very surprised it hasn't gotten the remake. Oh, it will. It will. It has to. And weirdly enough, I think Liam Neeson could play that role again. John Evan Bear, poor Alan, working on a holiday. You have no idea. And then Razorburn Alan is rocking it by himself. All right. So let's see. That is the planned stuff I had going. We got about 10 more minutes. So if you guys want to throw in any questions to me, I could do those. And then we can end it there. But this has been fun. I get to talk a little bit about my background. Yeah, one day I'd like to talk about improv comedy and how that works. Let me see what other topics go yet. Um, yeah, my dad's connection with the why can't I remember the movie Joy Luck Club. He's more connected with the book than he is with the movie. Let's see. Let's go. Yeah, let's go over some comments here. Hertz done it. I love Dr. Demento. He's still around. Yeah, in fact, when the Weird Al's movie played at Newport Beach Film Festival, Dr. Demento was there, along with Rainn Wilson. Let's see. Alan, Tina Beebe. Alan has great taste. The Marx Brothers, the Three Stooges, Monty Python. I will tell you, Duck Soup. For the longest time, Duck Soup was my favorite movie. Mark Clement, they got you with the Muppets, the bastards. Oh my gosh. I was such a fan of the Muppets TV show. Sunday evenings when I wasn't visiting. I will say this: when I lived in Culver City, I went to my grandparents all the time. When we moved to Palos Verdes, that's when we stopped going to my grandparents for a couple of years. And those years happened to be when the Muppets were on CBS in syndication. Here it was CBS, and I was there for every single episode of the Muppets. And Laura, you're playing with the things. I was playing. Yeah, watching Muppets, and it was at a time where you had a lot of old stars like Gene Kelly, Robert Goulet, and then you had new up and coming stars like Steve Martin. Mark Hamill was on the Muppets on their Star Wars episode. And it was just that perfect blend of, as a kid, it was that perfect spot between the stars I knew from the past and the stars that were coming in. And to see them with the Muppets, I was all about Muppets. The Natural History Museum in LA had a Muppet exhibit. And that was one of those few things where I begged my parents, you've got to take me to this. We need to spend the money and we got to take pictures of this. We got to go visit this Muppet exhibit. And they had the Muppets in cases. There was one, I think, where they had a cutout of Frank Oz and Jim Henson holding up the real Bert and Ernie. And I think they might have had some Dark Crystal stuff. This is kind of when that exhibit came along. And then recently, and I think I covered it in Film Threat, but they had a Muppet exhibit, Jim Henson exhibit at the Skirball, and we covered it there. So that article should be on filmthreat.com. Let's see. Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Eat them up. Yum. All right. From B-Rad, SNL used to be good back in the day. Yeah, that first, let's see, when was it good? Okay, so first crew, John Belushi, sorry. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, that crew. The second time they were good, I don't know, I think it might have been like the later Will Ferrell era. And then also, Phil Hartman. The Phil Hartman era. It was good, and it fell off once Phil left. And I could go on all day about news radio, by the way. All right, what other comments we got here? Jimmy Francis, are you or your family extras in any of these films? No. I think believe I was in high school when Darkman came out. I'll also say this: my grandparents never told us any of this stuff. We just find it. In fact, a lot of times, my aunts will come to me and say, okay, give me that list again of all the movies, because they don't even remember. I wish I had known the day that they were filming Darkman. That's all I'm saying. A. Money Wilson, have you seen the Beetlejuice sequel? I was supposed to see it tomorrow. And because of, family things, I'm going to have to see it Thursday. But no, I haven't seen it yet. Daughter and I finally showed the original Beetlejuice to my daughter 2 days ago, and she loved it and loved the musical. It was weird for her to go from the musical to the movie. Ryan Landis, favorite trilogy, not counting Star Wars. Okay, I'm going to say Naked Gun at the moment, although 33 and a Third is not that great. But the first two are. Okay. What other trilogies? Well, I mean, Lord of the Rings. You probably would have put that on the not counting Lord of the Rings too. Yeah, I would have to go with Naked Gun. For the lack of not thinking of the other ones at the moment. Chelsea M, how did the whole Disney Files thing start? Did you know someone at Disney? Yeah, I will tell you how the whole Disney Files thing started. I went to, so the actor strike just ended. And everyone was eager to get actors to promote their movies. And this is literally days after the actor strike. I was invited to the LA press screening of Wish. So it was critics, it was cast and crew, and so I think it was, I don't know, I don't think you could technically call it the premiere, but it was a big event over at the DGA. So I'm there watching Wish, and over the as the movie played on, I was just thinking in my seat going, this is horrible, this is awful. And I'm looking at the animation and I'm saying to myself, this is the worst animation I've ever seen come out of Disney. And the things that came into my mind was, if you're familiar with Hunchback of Notre Dame, in the background was the first time they used they used computer animation to draw the crowds. And it looked like computer animation had drawn the crowds. People were not, people are acting like this. And I remember watching Wish thinking, that's exactly how Wish is being animated. Then came the music and all these songs. The songs were absolutely horrible. My philosophy about musicals is you should at least walk away with a song or two. This one failed in all directions and in every way. And oh man, I couldn't remember a single song if you put a gun to my head. And it's just awful. And so this was 2 weeks before the embargo lifted. So I'm sitting on this for 2 weeks. And I'm on, I think I'm on the Pro Show or Valiance, one of the two. And I remember telling him, yeah, I've seen Wish. And I told him secretly, this is the worst Disney animated film in its 100-year history. And then we finally got to the point, and you can watch the video. Go back a year. In fact, almost a year ago today, and watch my review of Wish. And I just unloaded. I took the trailer of Wish, grabbed screenshots of it, and told you exactly why the animation in this is horrible and how this is a step down from the animation Walt Disney did 100 years ago. And so I just went off. This is horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible. A week or two later, Chris tells me, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but your video is making its rounds at Disney Animation." And then all of a sudden we start getting emails from people who worked at Disney Animation, basically saying you have no idea what's going on. And so I went through and had some interviews and talked to people and got the scoop. And what was interesting about this is what the D-Files is 6 parts. It took a while to figure out how we're going to structure this. And I'll say this, when I first started with part 1, and as I was going through and talking with people, I could never have imagined how it ended. Because I thought in my mind, I knew how this story was going to end. And it ended in a way that I never imagined. And especially with Wish, the problem with Wish is it was all done on purpose. That this horrible animation was supposed to be an homage to Disney. And what I found out was, if you're going to do an homage to Disney, what you should have done was you should have gone to the people who are working at Disney, who had been working there for decades, who had learned the Disney technique over the decades, and then have them tell you how to do Wish as an homage to Disney. But because the the work environment had gotten so toxic, they had all either left or quit or been fired. And so now you had no one to go back to. And so now you're deconstructing Disney, trying to recreate Disney, and failing utterly at that. Yeah. And so there you go. That's kind of how the D-Files started. And we have some stuff coming up that I think D-Files Part 2, D-Files 2.0 is going to come hopefully by the end of the month, but we'll see. No promises. Randolph Lalonde. Does improv acting help with writing reviews? Honestly, it does, but not in the way you think. So I've been doing improv comedy I am headed into 30 years of doing improv comedy. And when I got the gig in San Diego, and I've been doing the San Diego show for 25 years, I had a good idea of how to do improv. That's why they hired me. But if you've ever performed in public, especially in an improv situation, every show I'd be throwing up just from nervousness and anxiety. And I will tell you this, there was a sudden realization with improv comedy that I realized and embraced. And when I did that, I stopped throwing up, because now I could walk on stage and confidently do what I need to do on stage, knowing that I have no idea what's going to happen. The idea is you step on stage, someone throws out a suggestion, and you do a scene. That's scary. But when I learned this fact, it changed the way I did improv, and it changed the way I approach improv to where I'm never nervous anymore. And weirdly enough, it applies to the way I look at films. And here it is. This is the gold, the keys to improv. But the key to improv and the key to comedy is this. You need to relate to the audience. You need to set up a scene on stage that the audience can relate to and feel like they've gone through it. For example, getting a job, going on a date, asking someone out on a date, asking someone to marry them, asking someone to divorce them, asking for a promotion, asking for a raise, telling a loved one, that they're going to get married, telling a loved one that someone died. There are all these situations that we all go through every day, and that we can all relate to, regardless of gender, color, creed, religion. We've all gone through these situations. And by creating a situation on stage, by starting with a situation on stage that everyone can relate to, you draw the audience in. And now the audience connects with what's happening on stage at the moment. And then as you're acting out this situation, then you allow this improv game, to come in and bring in the comedy, to turn an ordinary situation on its head. For example, if I'm asking someone out on a date, we just do that. We set that up. And then, someone will yell an emotion, and the scene will continue on in a different emotion. Someone will throw a line out. The next line we say in the scene, someone does that. We'll do it as a Shakespearean play. But as long as you are able to connect with that audience, the moment you connect with them, that's when you can start bringing the comedy in. And the reason it works with reviews is that's kind of how I look at movies. Movies, you should be able to connect to it. You should be able to relate to it. You should be able to relate to the lead characters. When Luke Skywalker is this poor farmer on a moisture farm, you connect with that, because we've all been there in a situation where we feel stuck in life, but have an opportunity to go out on an adventure. That's where we connect with movies. And this is the thing about the Rings of Power. This is the thing about Kenobi, about Disney Star Wars, about the Acolyte, is you have people just doing things. Osha comes in and has to kill Carrie-Anne Moss. Well, that's all she does, is she kills. You don't understand why she's doing it. We have no reason to connect with her, to say, oh, I understand why you're going on this mission. Because the moment you understand why she goes on that mission, and if those stakes are high enough to where I can connect with it, then we are engaged with that character, and then can go on the adventure with them. That's why when Frodo and Sam go on a journey, they leave their home in the Shire, and they have to go on this mission to drop a ring off in a in Mordor. We connect with that because in some way Max, Sam, and Frodo are us. They are given an adventure. They're put on an adventure that could kill them, where they could literally die at the end of it. And so we feel sympathy for them. And because they're like us, we understand that we're not great swordsmen. All we do is, we've never ridden a horse. We never left the Shire at this point. And that's how we connect with them. And that's how over, if you count the extended versions, how over 12 hours you can follow these two on their adventure. And to me, that's the number one thing. You can have a bad movie. You can make a movie with $200, a cheap set, and still connect with the audience because you can write a story that connects with the audience. Okay, so that's kind of how improv at least informs the way I review films. All right, let's go. Jean Hu for 742. Thoughts and prayers on you and your wife. Special thanks and respect to your older brother. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, my wife is having surgery on Wednesday, so I could use your prayers greatly during that time. It's early in the morning, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Gatekeeper for 20. I pray for a successful surgery for your wife. My mom had eye surgery. Oh, my mom has eye surgery tomorrow, and we appreciate healthy prayers also. Yes, absolutely. Starting to love you and Chris almost as much as Gary. Wish you guys continued success and good health. Take care. Thank you very much for that, Gatekeeper. Red French Moon for €5. Punk music in a Chinese restaurant with lantern, and all the punk actually were where you're allowed free food in the kitchen after school. Yeah, no, I think you had to still order food at the restaurant, but there was a bar, so drinks were flowing those nights. D for 5. This is for Alan having to sit through that. Alan Ferguson. I wish you hadn't, pun intended. Is this a pun? I don't think so. Plus, fuck Disney. All right. Aaron Sleeper. D-Files was eye-opening. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of being an artist at Disney. Oh, I'm right there with you. Glad that this was one dream that didn't come true. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? Because this applied to a lot of the people who were there at the time. This was started the Lasseter period. And that, Disney was the dream. If you wanted to get into animation, if you wanted to get into art, it was the dream. And then once Lasseter got the boot, that dream fell. It crumbled. And not just for the men, but, the environment got so toxic that the creative spirit that flowed throughout Disney animation was gone, out of fear of, and look, if you've ever been in brainstorming sessions, especially when it comes to being artistic and being creative, sometimes you push the boundaries. Sometimes you need to push the boundaries, cross the line, and in order to explore an aspect of a project that you had never thought of. And sometimes it does require stepping over a line that might offend somebody. Because once you get there, you can step back and say, okay, we can't do it that way, but we can make it more appropriate, and then back off and do something. But the problem is if you, even in jest, if you had said something inappropriate, you were sent to HR. If you had said something at your desk that someone overheard, you were sent to HR. If someone saw you post something, you were sent to HR. And so when you are actively censoring creatives, you are actively killing creativity. And there you go. All right. I think that's it. Let me see. Just a couple of things. Let's see. Oh, yeah. We got the award this ceremony coming up. You still have time to submit your film. Do it by September 30th. You can submit your film at the Film Threat website. And also, I will award this. I'll say this. We get a lot of films. So make sure your synopsis will engage people, engage our writers, because that's the only thing they have to go on to whether they choose to watch your film or not. There are also other options where you can guarantee that we see your film as well. Let's see. Also, if you like my shirt, no, this is something different. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. If you like my shirt, this is Classic Film Threat. Visit us at shop.filmthreat.com. Film Threat shirts, cure nudity on contact. And I will, let's see. And for the rest of the week, I will not be here Wednesday for obvious reasons. Chris will have a guest with him. Friday, I will be back to review films. We have Beetlejuice. We have a couple of others, a couple other indie films to go along with it. And then we will also have news to talk about. So appreciate that. I appreciate you all being here for Versus. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Like that. And let me see what else. Yeah, I think I got to. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord Thoth, for being our mod. Thank you to Atomic Glory for producing the back of the scenes. Thank you to Chris for giving me an opportunity to do this alone. Safe travels. I think you're flying back today. And to Glenn Nuccio for these weird videos that I played earlier. Yeah, I got them all. So with that, here we go. Let's get out of here.